Alright guys, what is going on? I'm Tubby Emu, back for the first time in a while with a video kind of breaking down Monday Night Raw in a way that pertains to Brock Lesnar. Now, everybody's been asking, Tubby, what do I think about Brock being back? And honestly, if it benefits the WWE, I'm all for it. I had goosebumps when Brock came back. I'm happy he's back, all that. And I think what they're doing with him, I think he deserves, to get the contract he has. I mean, and some people may really disagree, like Tubby, he was only there for 2 years. Yeah, but when he said he wasn't that same stupid college farm boy that came into the WWE, needed him back then, he's a lot smarter. I actually have to agree. The WWE knows they need Brock Lesnar. They need somebody of Brock's caliber, and they are catering to Brock's needs. Now, one of the things that happened last night was they set up Monday Night Raw for the contract signing between Brock Lesnar and John Cena at the start of the show. John Cena came out, and then, John Laurinaitis came out, and then actually Edge interrupted him, and I'll make a video talking about Edge later. And Brock didn't show up. And it was announced that, Brock would show up on his own time, and the contract signing was set to be the main event. And to me, I was actually kind of excited. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Let's have the contract signing be the last thing. It's the go-home show to Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Make something big. And then, throughout the night, we finally saw Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar went and beat the shit out of Josh Matthews. Josh Matthews was trying to get a backstage interview and was talking to him and said, he was trying to ask him, about his thoughts, and then he just choked Josh against the truck. And then he slapped his face and let go of him, and he walked away. And then Josh said, geez, I was only trying to do my job. And then Brock grabs him and throws him through the steel platform in the interview area that's in the background. And I was like, wait, what? I'm like, okay. So right away speculation started swirling that because he did that, there's got to be a fine, right? Sheamus got fined for touching a WWE referee. For Brock to beat up an employee, there's got to be fines. There's got to be punishments. And nothing came of it. We had the whole storylines last night, and then finally came time for the main event, and I was actually really excited. Brock came out, John introduced the next best thing, and then John Cena's music played, and he didn't come out. And instantly I posted it on Facebook and Twitter. I'm like, okay, yes, we're getting Thugonomics. We're getting John Cena back because of what happened earlier with Edge. And then John Cena didn't come out. And you could look, at Brock's face, obviously it was the work situation. That was the whole point of it. And he got to it and he was like, I got a couple demands. I'm not going to sign the contract until you make these demands. And one, I think it's a little weird of a thing, because if you've already signed a contract to be in the WWE, you should already have to be in the matches. And he had a list of demands. And the list of demands, varied. And I thought some of them were actually good and some of them were actually horrible. One of them was the use of Vince McMahon's private jet to and from appearances whenever Brock shows up. And I actually thought, that's not actually that bad. I'm pretty sure John Cena has a deal where he can use the corporate jet up to 10 times a year, or Triple H, or one of the guys. There was leaked years ago that was in their contract. So, for Brock Lesnar. But the fact that he wanted Vince McMahon's personal jet, I don't know about that. And we'll get more into why Triple H is in the ring in a little bit too. And one of the things that came up as well was Brock Lesnar had said that, any decisions, any big decisions have to come through me. And, I was listening to the Score podcast last night. They had a live breakdown, and I love the Score podcast. You guys should definitely check it out. And the aftermath. And to me, they made a good point. They're like, it doesn't make sense, because Brock has been advocating and burying the WWE, saying, the WWE is shit, all this stuff. He doesn't care about people. He doesn't care about anybody. He's only here for Brock Lesnar. He's an ass kicker, blah, blah, blah. But yet then he wants all big decisions that don't even pertain to him to come through Brock. Brock wants to be in control. That doesn't make sense. that is completely ass backwards, and guys might know what I'm talking about here, is if you have Brock, who says he doesn't care about anything, and then you say, all right, any big decision has to come through me, so giving Dolph Ziggler a match at Extreme Rules has to go through Brock. Why would it have to go through Brock? Because he doesn't care about people. That is a completely ass backwards. I thought that logic and that reasoning for one of his demands is horrible. Maybe Brock just said it wrong. But he had a sheet of paper, so I don't know how he could have. And to me, I was like, what would have made more sense is to say, Brock, if he had told John, any decisions that pertain to me, I get, control of. Or you have to run it by me, or still, I get full creative control over my character. I think that would have been perfect. But instead, what happened? No, he said over all big decisions, which doesn't make sense at all. So to me, that's a little bit of an annoyance. And then it came down to, a few other things. And the few other, demands just at one point got really stupid. I was like, are you serious, Brock? Really? That's what you want? One of the things he brought up, was he wants Monday Night Raw to be called Monday Night Raw starring Brock Lesnar. And I sat there, I'm like, oh shit, really? Really, Brock? Part of me knows that, his squeaky voice and not a deep voice at all is horrible, and I want to see Paul Heyman back. And then I was sitting there, just like people on Twitter was like, please, Brock, please, as one of your demands, please say you want Heyman Hustle back. Please get Paul Heyman back. And it wasn't one of them. And it was like Monday Night Raw starring Brock Lesnar. And it finally got to a point like, maybe it'll work for a while. And then he said, he wants no fines for any of his actions. He doesn't want to be held responsible. And that one makes sense, because if Brock's an ass kicker, he's coming in to legitimize, the company, go for it. But at the same time, if the referees post a video, they're all scared because of Sheamus. Well, if Brock goes putting his hands on whoever with no punishment, that's kind of negates the same thing. So what comes from this, Tubby? Obviously, John Cena eventually came out, and John Cena, came out with a chain gang, and right away I was excited. I posted on Facebook, like, oh shit, chain gang's here. He just got real. He came out with the padlock. He had it on his hand. They stared each other down. Brock flipped the table. They got in each other's face. John Cena signed it. They never fought. And I thought it was a horrible ending to Raw, to be honest with you. I would have liked to see him fight. It is a go home to the pay-per-view. And I guess the part that I had a problem with was I just could not get over how bad Brock Lesnar is on the mic. That was my biggest, snafu. And when it was all said and done, John Cena didn't use the padlock. He didn't use the chain. It was just a stare down as Brock left. And, John Laurinaitis agreed to all his things. And one of the things that came up on WWE.com, they said, yes, and in fact, if Brock Lesnar wins on Sunday, Monday Night Raw will be called Monday Night Raw starring Brock Lesnar. Which, that could get Triple H involved eventually for a storyline. It's his first match back. Do you want to have Brock Lesnar lose his first match back if it's a legitimacy thing? I think it has to end in a way that neither of these guys loses, but I don't think Brock deserves to get what he's all asking for. So I want to know your guys' opinions. Leave it in the comment section below. Do me a favor, leave a rating on the video. And it'll be interesting to see what happens Extreme Rules. I am going to buy it. I'm going to watch it. Even though the card is looking kind of horrible. I don't expect anything too amazing to come from the pay-per-view. So, guys, my name is Tubby. Extreme Rules this Sunday. Brock Lesnar could have his own show. Monday Night Raw featuring Brock Lesnar. Have a good day, nation. Tubby out.